Today is July 20th. Welcome to Big Book Daily. My name is Rob. I am an alcoholic. It is a thrill, honor, and joy to be with you today as we journey through the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. Today, out of the Big Book, we are going to, I should probably pull up my list real quick. We're going to continue our journey through Bill's story, page 11, and through the 12 and 12, we're going to continue our journey through Step 3 by reading page 38. And of course, we'll read today's daily reflections and 24 hours a day. So with that, hope you all are doing well this morning, my friends. Life is good over here. We've been given a brand new set of 24 hours yet again. What a blessing it is just to be alive today. And if we're sober, holy cow. Infinitely better, right? And if we're not, what a great day to begin. A whole new journey. One day at a time. So let's get to the good stuff. Alright, so if you recall from yesterday's reading in the Big Book, Ebby Thatcher has shown up. He's got religion. Bill, as he's talking to his old buddy, all these old thoughts are coming up about his childhood. And, he admits that he believed in a higher power, but that's as far as his faith has ever gone. So we're going to continue to see, where else this conversation steers in Bill's story. Again, we're on page 11. To Christ, I conceded the certainty of a great man, not too closely followed by those who claimed him. His moral teaching, most excellent. For myself, I'd adopted those parts which seemed convenient and not too difficult, but the rest I disregarded. The wars which had been fought, the burnings and chicanery that religious dispute had facilitated, made me sick. I honestly doubted whether, on balance, the religions of mankind had done any good. Judging from what I'd seen in Europe, and since, the power of God in human affairs was negligible. The brotherhood of man a grim jest. If there was a devil, he seemed the boss universal. And he certainly had me. But my friend sat before me, and he made the point-blank declaration that God had done for him what he could not do for himself. His human will had failed. Doctors had pronounced him incurable. Society was about to lock him up. Like myself, he had admitted complete defeat. Then he had, in effect, been raised from the dead, suddenly taken from the scrap heap to a level of life better than the best of us had ever known. Had this power originated in him? Obviously it had not. There had been no power more in him than there was in me at that minute. And this was none at all. That floored me. It began to look as though religious people were right after all. Here was something at work in a human heart which had done the impossible. My ideas about miracles were drastically revised right then. Never mind the musty past. Here sat a miracle directly across the kitchen table. He shouted great tidings. I saw that my friend was much more than inwardly reorganized. He was on a different footing. His roots grasped a new soil. Next up, the 12 and 12, Step 3. Made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood him. Page 38. We realize that the word dependence is as distasteful to many psychiatrists and psychologists as it is to alcoholics. Like our professional friends, we too are aware that there are wrong forms of dependence. We have experienced many of them. No adult man or woman, for example, should be in too much emotional dependence upon a parent. They should have been weaned long before, and if they have not been, they should wake up to that fact. This very form of faulty dependence has caused many a rebellious alcoholic to conclude that dependence on any sort must be intolerably damaging. But dependence upon an AA group, or upon a higher power, hasn't produced any baleful results. When World War II broke out, this spiritual principle had its first major test. AAs entered the services and were scattered all around the world. Would they be able to take discipline, stand up under fire, and endure the monotony and misery of war? Would the kind of dependence that they had learned in AA carry them through? Well, it did. They had even fewer alcoholic lapses or emotional binges than AA's safe at home did. They were just as capable of endurance and valor as many other soldiers. Whether in Alaska or on the Salerno beachhead, their dependence upon a higher power worked. And far from being a weakness, this dependence was their chief source of strength. Daily Reflections, July 20th. Shortcomings removed. But now the words, "Of myself I am nothing, the Father doeth the works," began to carry bright promise and meaning. 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 75. When I put the 7th step into action, I must remember that there are no blanks to fill in. It doesn't say, "Amelie asked him to fill in the blank, remove our shortcomings." For years, I filled in the imaginary blank with, "Help me, give me the courage to," and "give me the strength," etc. The step simply says that God will remove my shortcomings. The only footwork that I must do is humbly ask, which for me means asking with the knowledge that of myself, I am nothing. The Father within doeth the works. 24 hours a day, July 20th. AA thought for the day. We must be loyal to the group and to each member of it. We must never accuse members behind their backs or even to their faces. It's up to them to tell us themselves if anything is wrong. More than that, we must try not to think bad things about any members, because if we do, we're consciously or unconsciously hurting that person. We must be loyal to each other if AA is going to be successful. While we're in this lifeboat, trying to save ourselves and each other from alcoholism, we must be truly and sincerely helpful to each other. Am I a loyal member of my group? Meditation for the day. Carry out God's guidance as best you can. Leave the results to Him. Do this obediently and faithfully with no question that if the working out of the guidance is left in God's hands, the results will be all right. Believe that the guidance God gives you has already been worked out by God to produce the required result according to your case and in your circumstances. So follow God's guidance according to your conscience. God has knowledge of your individual life and character, your capabilities and your weaknesses. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may live according to the dictates of my conscience. I pray that I may leave the results to God. Okay, so that's all we have for today. So first of all, that last reading, the gossip part. Anytime I have a resentment, I just try to pray, God bless them, change me. I heard that from a friend in the rooms before. That prayer always stood out to me. Bless them, change me. I can't control anybody else. The only thing I can do is try to control my actions and learn from my mistakes and control my responses to a certain situation. And the only other thing that last reading makes me think about is trusting that, all we have to do is sow the seed. The God of my understanding is responsible for doing the growing. I may never see the results or the harvest of being kind to others or anything like that, or trying to do the right thing. But I trust that by being kind to somebody today, being of service to somebody today, I trust that God will use that to bless somebody out there. But that's not my business. I just keep going. And there have been many people that have blessed me through service and kindness. So to be on the receiving end of that, sometimes it really does make my day, and all glory to my higher power. So thank you so much for listening, and if we are given another set of 24 hours, my friends, I look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow.